Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. While the world has been waiting on Pope Francis and his crooked cabinet to release the report on the evil empire and clerical accomplices of homo-predator and former Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, another much more quiet route to the truth has been quietly moving along out of the public eye. James Grine, the premier victim, so to speak, is suing McCarrick, but also the Archdiocese of New York, the Diocese of Metuchen, New Jersey, as well as the Archdiocese of Newark, New Jersey. He's able to file these suits because both New York and New Jersey lifted the statute of limitations last year. Part of each of these lawsuits entails Theodore McCarrick actually being deposed, sitting down to be deposed, by Grine's attorney, Mitchell Garabedian. Garabedian is the noted attorney from the original homo-predator scandal cases dating back to Boston in 2002.
He's alive. There are people who know where he is, and he's trying to mount a defense against you. What on earth do you think of that?
Well, I think that the man has such an ego that it's just unbelievable. He has, I think it's time for the world to hear what McCarrick has to say. And I hope the deposition is made public so that really all Catholics in the United States get to see it. He's going to be deposed in July. Mm-hmm. I get to be deposed by 4 different sets of lawyers. Because I have New York, I have Metuchen, I have Newark, and I have McCarrick himself.
Specifically regarding the long-anticipated McCarrick report from Rome, Grine has been told by Pope Francis's attorney, personal attorney, that it's not only done, but has been done for a while.
The McCarrick report is sitting on Francis's desk, and he's going to let dust build up on it for a long period of time. I don't think we'll ever see it in my lifetime.
Why?
He just doesn't want it out there because it destroys the entire hierarchy. The hierarchy is all intertwined with it, and if it's like telling on himself.
Yeah.
And it shows how much cover-up there really is, and it just says it can't see the light of day.
One of the startling revelations, and a fact that brings into serious question the validity of the final report, if it's ever released, is that James Grine, the main victim of McCarrick for years, was never interviewed during its preparation. Not once.
If that report comes out, everything that he ever did to build the church and to destroy her will come out. And they can't get the report out there.
The Pope's personal attorney, who was in charge of creating the report, is San Francisco attorney Jeffrey Lina. Lina recently interviewed Grine by phone for 8 hours over multiple days, collecting notes for the Vatican archives.
The Pope's attorney is not currently interviewing you for the sake of the McCarrick report. That's done, to whatever degree it's done. That's off the table, that's done. He's interviewing you because he's just taking notes for the Vatican archives. That's what he told you.
Yes, that's correct. And for Francis to read.
Lina is part of a Vatican apparatus that has no interest in the truth, but merely protecting the institution, shielding it from legal consequences or financial liability.
I feel sorry for Mr. Lina.
Yeah, why?
Because he's going to go to hell. Because he's protecting evil. He's protecting the man who destroyed my life. Why? I don't understand these people. I never will.
Grine's intimate knowledge of McCarrick and his activities over the decades casts light on some extremely evil goings-on occurring on a global scale.
Every evil that you could possibly think of in the world today, he has his mitts on it.
In the wake of the McCarrick homo-predator scandal becoming public in the summer of 2018, Church Militant uncovered the connection between McCarrick and the Soviet communists dating back to his young adulthood. As he quickly rose up the ranks of the church, he became a player in geopolitics, advancing the cause of worldwide Marxism. He traveled for the U.S. State Department routinely, and along the way developed a network of globalist interests and very influential individuals. Investigators Church Militant have communicated with have revealed to us that McCarrick had offshore accounts they believe were funded by the Kremlin to the tune of enormous sums of money. Money McCarrick used for bribes in the Vatican and across the world stage.
And he was going to China to sell out the Catholics. Mm-hmm. He was
something Cardinal Zen has underscored. Absolutely, this was his words: a complete sellout of the church in China.
Right.
Engineered by McCarrick.
Engineered by McCarrick. And see, Francis couldn't go because Francis doesn't know anybody in China, and McCarrick had been going to China for decades.
Yeah.
It was McCarrick who worked out the Vatican-China Accord, a mission given to him personally by Pope Francis. Francis unshackled him from Benedict-imposed restrictions just weeks after becoming pope, a fact confirmed by Archbishop Vigano. Likewise, sources in China and reports by Steve Bannon at War Room as well as Church Militant show that McCarrick may have been instrumental in working out the ongoing secret payments of billions of dollars from the Chinese communists to Francis's Vatican. If that's true, and it looks plausible given McCarrick's communist ties and friendliness with Beijing, that could go a long way to explaining why the report remains sitting on the Pope's desk unpublished.
McCarrick had to be the donkey.
Mm-hmm.
He had to bring the information there, and he had to get the papers in saying, this is what we're going to do by 2020. Can you make sure that this starts to happen?
With a worldwide pandemic released by the Chinese communists, then covered up, then lied about, then taken political advantage of by Marxist-minded American politicians hell-bent on destroying America First President Donald Trump, all sorts of questions need to be raised about this incredible tangled web of deception, and for Catholics, specifically the involvement of the Vatican. China is an enormous threat to the U.S., a communist nation bent on world domination, assisted by the Vatican and the disgraceful accord bargained by McCarrick. Even FBI Director Christopher Wray, in a speech last week to the Hudson Institute, laid out the massive threat China poses to the United States. And interestingly, Joe Biden, phony Catholic, with his very close relationship with the Chinese communists, a relationship stretching back decades, and one from which his son, Hunter, profited over $1 billion. Not one U.S. bishop has ever voiced a concern. Not one has raised a single question about all of this. Likewise, not one single Catholic establishment media operation has checked into any of this. The world is careening toward a globalist Marxist empire where the church will be viciously attacked because that's what Marxist communists do. And a very likely key to understanding all of this is Theodore McCarrick. And yet, not a word from inside the Vatican. No questions from U.S. bishops, many of whom knew him very well and, in fact, owe their careers to him.
What's the goal? What's the big, giant goal? The very tip of the mountain, top of the mountain, what is it?
No Catholicism in the world, atheism.
So truly one world government, no religion, or certainly not Catholic religion.
No, not Catholic.
The level of betrayal and deceit, the treachery in all of this is brain-numbing. But there it is, all coming to light. Grine has a word of warning for all of his fellow Catholics.
Catholics, you have to understand this. It is now. It's right now. Either you're with God or you're not, or you're atheist.
If you'd like to watch the entire interview with James, please just click on the provided link. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.